Hey everyone, this is Leanne from Of Love and Shiplap and the founder of Sublimation graphics and tutorials here on Facebook. If you're joining us on YouTube, please be sure to come join our Facebook group where all of our videos air live before they're added to our YouTube channel unedited. And of course, if you are catching us live on Facebook, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Those links are in the video description depending on where you're watching. With sweater weather either here for some parts of the country or coming down the pipeline for those of us in the South, it seemed like the perfect time to do a demo on these adorable dog sweatshirts from Sublimation 101. So this is, I believe, the small or the extra small. I think it's got a size tag, hold on. This is the small. And you can see they've got these little hoods. And then I have a large or an extra large for Jasper. We're gonna do the extra large for him. Okay, these are really nice sweatshirt material, like exactly what you or I might be wearing for a good quality sweatshirt in the store. As you can see, it's got these great hoods and it has this nice reinforced hole for your leash to come through. It's got little 3/4 sleeves, and I'll try and see if Jasper will comply to putting this on. He does love sweaters. He loves anything that's soft inside, and this does feel nice and soft inside. And he doesn't like being cold, but today it's a little chilly this morning, but yesterday it was 90 degrees. So we'll see if he will willingly put this on. Now it's 100% polyester, so you could choose to print all of this if you wanted. You would obviously have to be strategic about it, you know, maybe do like just the hood so that you could have it flat and then do the other half of the hood. We're just gonna focus on doing the back of this. You know, I can't get really creative with dog sweatshirts. I looked online and a lot of them were kind of silly, and I don't know, Jasper just wants one that says his name on it with a paw print, so that's what we're gonna do here. And it'll be a pretty big size. I haven't measured it yet. We're gonna measure it here in a minute. So these are really nice. They are $15 each, and you can retail these for around $25 to $30. So they don't have the biggest markup, but this is the kind of item that you would mix with other items. So I wouldn't just sell a dog sweatshirt. I would sell maybe a dog sweatshirt with like the treat container that we did in our white toner demo using the white toner aqua clear. That would be like a great little kit, and you could choose to throw in some locally made dog treats. You could choose to add in, you know, a $3 dog leash, and before you know it, you're putting together this gift bundle where you can usually charge $100 for this bundle, and that's going to increase your profits. So going into 2022, I'm going to really be focusing on teaching you guys how to market products accordingly for your business. And items that have a lower profit margin are the kind of items that you want to focus on building into bundles and sets so that you can help drive up your profits by matching them with items that have a higher price point, but don't cost you a lot of money. It's all about that perception. This is why gift baskets are so popular. Most of those items that are in gift baskets don't even cost that much, but people like the convenience, they like the cuteness of a gift basket, and people love their pets. Lord knows I love Jasper. He's like my whole world. So if you guys haven't seen him, I'm sure he'll pop into the video. He's always here. And when I used to do the videos in my garage, you guys saw him a lot more back in the early days of Sub That. You guys would see him a lot more because he was always wandering around in the videos, but now his crate is in the office, so he just lays on top of it and looks out the window. And I can actually, I'll just show you him. Say hi, everybody. We're gonna make you a sweater. Hello, hello, hello. There's Jasper. Jasper is 7. He's got his bandana on that we made last week from Single J Sublimation. There's that. And he likes to just lay on top of that crate with all of his lamb chop toys. So we're gonna make him a sweatshirt today. Let's go ahead and get some quick measurements, and then we will pop into Affinity Designer to put up our design and get it ready to print, and then we'll press it on our EnduraPress 16 by 20 heat press. So for our dog sweatshirt, I'm just going to be printing the back area, but if you wanted to print something like the hood, what you're always going to be looking for in items like this is how you can get the flattest press, because pressure and even pressure and your transfer being evenly pressed across your item is essential. So for something like this hood, you would want to measure, from here to here, and then also your furthest points from here to here. And you would want to do both sides of that to be able to print it. And then if you use like a digital paper or a pattern that has a transparent background so the gray will still come, you won't have to worry too much about the seams. But this part lays nice and flat, so that's easy to do. The sleeves also lay nice and flat. So you could absolutely do the sleeves as well. I actually think that doing the hood and the sleeves would be really cute. So you could do those as well. Not really the cuffs though, because see how the cuffs are crinkled there? So that would not be a good move there. Well, I guess maybe if you put like a cardboard jig in there, you could do that as well. And then you could do your chest area, and we're going to be doing the back. So we'll get this nice and flat. But these are the kinds of things you always want to look for on an item like this, is what's going to be the best way for you to press it. So I can already see that because of this collar loophole here and whatever's underneath there, oh, the hemline right here, I'm going to want to have this section hanging off my heat press, because the extra layers here are going to hinder me getting a solid pressure across. So that part will be off of my heat press, and this part, will be the part that we are focused on putting our design. So I'm just going to get a measurement here for what I think is a good size. There's no real rhyme or reason here, but I usually just like to visualize. So 9 inches, and then if we go sideways, that's pretty big. I could do 9 by 9, but Jasper does have a really big chest. I think maybe 8 by 8 will look better. Maybe even 7.5, maybe just 7. All right, I'm gonna go with 7 by 7, and I'm gonna put it right up here so it will sit nicely on his back. So we've got our 7 inches by 7 inch measurement that I'm going to do. This is on the extra large sweatshirt. And then, like I said, if you wanted to do the sleeves and hood, you would measure that. Let me look at those sleeves again. Yes, the sleeves will lay flat. They just won't lay flat with the hood also. So you would have to do sleeves separately than the hood. But we're just going to do the back. So you can see how nicely these sublimate. All right, let's pop into Affinity Designer, get our design set up to print. I'm going to be setting up my design for our dog sweater in Affinity Designer on my Windows laptop. If you're using a Mac, the interface is pretty much the same and the steps will be the same as well. Just keep in mind that my interface is personalized, so to speak. I have customized it by putting my layers over here, or these specific panels over here, which would be down here by default. If you're using the Windows version, you can dock your panels here if you would like, but if you're using the Mac version, you cannot. This is going to be pretty quick. We're going to start by opening up a print page that is the size that we want to print on. So since our graphic is going to be 7 inches by 7 inches, we can just use letter size sublimation paper. So we will go to File, New, and we'll click on our print tab, and we will choose the preset size for letter size. And we want to make sure that we are set to RGB/8 and hit create. Now I'm just going to do something really simple. I'm going to do a paw print, and I'll fill it with some buffalo plaid paper, and I will add Jasper's name over top of it, and then he will have a cute sweater to wear all winter. So the paw print is actually a font called Animal Tracks, which you can get onto font. I'll click on my artistic text tool, click and drag to start a text box the size that I'm looking for. I believe that capital C is the dog paw, but we'll find out in a second. So I'm going to type that in, and then I'll go to my font list and find Animal Tracks. Oh, not capital C, lowercase c. There we go. And now I'm going to come over here to my transform panel and I'm going to resize this to 7 inches. We'll do the width 7 inches, so the height will be a little bit more because we do have room for a little bit more height. Now I'm just going to center that on my page. You'll notice that I have those red and green guidelines that are letting me know that this is completely center. Those happen when you have this magnet icon selected that activates your snapping guides, and then this little down arrow allows you to check what type of guides you are looking for. You can also go to your alignment panel, which is right up here, and you can choose the align center and align middle for vertical and horizontal and hit apply. Obviously mine's already aligned, so that is not going to be necessary. Let's go ahead and fill this with some buffalo plaid digital paper. You can do this using the fill tool, or you can choose to do it using the place image tool. The place image tool I prefer to use for something like this because it's easier to tile if you want to tile it. But the fill image tool also works great too, as long as you have a seamless pattern. Now I'm hoping that the ones I have are seamless, so we'll use the fill tool this time. So I'm going to click on that fill tool, which is that one that has the little rainbow wheel. I'm going to come up here to my context toolbar settings and make sure I have fill selected. And then where it says type, I'm going to choose bitmap. This is going to open up my my documents area, and let's go to digital graphics, digital papers, and let's see. Maybe it's under Christmas. Oh, there's one. I think we'll go with that one. All right, you can manage the size of this by pulling on your anchor points, and you can also rotate it if you wanted to have it rotated. So you can resize it down however you want, however, what size you want. So this one, see how there's a double right here? It's because it's not actually seamless, which is kind of a bummer, but I actually want it bigger anyways, so it's not going to be the end of the world. You can also change, the way the fill is. See, we have it wrap right now, but you can choose to mirror, repeat. The mirror option is great if you have a digital paper that is not, there are certain digital papers that will only line up end to, like, they only line up if you mirror one against the other. So it's still considered seamless because you can do that, but it doesn't tile one right next to each other. You have to flip one around and tile it that way. So you would use the mirror one for that. And you could use the repeat one if it actually, if it actually was completely seamless. Okay, back to my dog paw. I also want to add an outline to this. So I'm going to click on my effects panel. I'm going to come down here to outline. I like the black outline. I'm going to add just a little bit of a stroke to that, just to give my little dog paw a little bit of weight. And then I'll come over here to the artistic text tool again, and I will click and drag on my screen to start typing a text. I don't want animal tracks. I'm going to go with this fun font that Debbie B of Debbie Does Design introduced me to. It's called Nito Serif Rough, and I kind of love it. Now you'll notice it automatically applied the fill, which we don't want. So we'll go over to our fill tool and we will choose type and we will choose none. And then we'll click back on our move tool and come over here to our color panel and just make that black. So now I'm gonna get this lined up over top here. And obviously we can't see our name. So what I want to do is just add an outline to my Jasper as well. So I'll select that outline underneath the effects panel, but this time I'm going to make it white. And the white won't print obviously with sublimation, so that will work out perfectly for that. Now I'm going to click and drag my two layers together, and I'm going to right click on them in the layers panel and select group. And let's see, my width is at 8.29. That's because of Jasper's name. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to rotate it clockwise so that we can be sure that this isn't going to get cut off on our printer. And that's all we needed. We are ready to print it already. We can go to File and then Print and select our printer. We have our Workforce 7710, select Properties, and we're going to choose the print size page that we are printing on, which in this case is going to be our letter size print. So I already have that preset. You can save your presets by simply setting all of your settings that you use for your specific ink and paper. Keep in mind that mine may not be what yours are. I use printer jack, ink, and paper with my Workforce 7710. But you get it selected, and then you simply select this Add Remove Presets option, and when you name it, it'll give you the option to save. So I obviously don't need to do that, but I have that selected. I will hit OK, and then hit OK again, and it will send it to my printer. So let's pop over to our heat press now. All right, so this will be pretty quick. This is actually a pretty quick tutorial. We've got our print here. We just want to trim off our edges in case there's any ink residue. Remember that anytime you print sublimation, you can always possibly grab ink along those edges of your paper. It's more common with larger size paper, but trimming off your edges just never hurts. You can also choose to cut around the design, but to me, I really like straight edges, so here's my paper cutter. All right, let's grab our sweatshirt and come over to our heat press. We are going to be pressing this at 375 for 50 seconds. My heat press is running a little hot. I've been saying this recently in videos, so you could do 385 on these. We're going to be putting it upside down as well. So, because again, we don't want that collar piece to be hindering our design. I'm gonna try and get this as flat as I can. It's definitely a little harder with the sweatshirt. And we wanna be using pretty firm pressure. So you could probably do like a light firm, I guess I would call, so more than medium, because we have to deal with this like ridge from the underside of this. I don't think this will fit over my heat press. Oh, just kidding, I can thread this. That's perfect. So never mind. If you don't have the ability to thread yours, then I would definitely make sure you're using firmer pressure to help compensate for any weird edges. Now, we're still going to be using firmer pressure because we still have this, this back here. But the fact that I can thread this is fantastic. So we want to give this a good pre-press. Anytime you do fabric, fabric is the most important to pre-press because oh, not that, sorry. Because fabric retains the most moisture, and all fabrics can retain moisture. So it doesn't matter if it's a flag or a tote bag or a shirt. You always want to make sure that you give it a good pre-press to release that moisture. Now I'm going to make sure to cover this because you just never know what's on your heat press. So I always make sure to cover mine. And the reason why I said, oh no, about this sheet, I bought these pre-cut sheets and I was so happy with them, but there's something in them that occasionally leaves red marks on my garments. So there's not that. Before we pre-press, let's give this a quick lint roll. Can't ever forget the important lint roll step because lint on your item can leave blue dots. So there we go. We got a nice good lint roll. I'm going to throw up some protective paper. This is just painter's masking paper. Usually I have the 18-inch one, so I don't need 2 pieces, but for whatever reason, the store was out. I buy it at Lowe's. It's only like a couple of dollars a roll. And I'm going to tighten that a little bit. And there we go. So we're going to pre-press this for roughly half the time that we will press it for. And that's like a good rule of thumb. If it's more humid where you are, then you always want to pre-press for longer. And there is no danger in pre-pressing for longer. If you don't pre-press, that moisture is still going to release when you put your transfer on. And it's going to shrink, just like your clothes shrink when they come out of the dryer, or they seem like they have shrunken. but they haven't actually shrunken. They are just void of moisture, and then they hang in your closet, they hang on your body, they absorb that moisture from the atmosphere from your body, and then all of a sudden they feel like they're looser. So it's the same philosophy here, but if your transfer is on your garment, your fabric, and it starts to shrink, it causes ghosting. This is literally the biggest cause of ghosting, despite what other people think. And quite frankly, no amount of taping actually solves it. And it's also not necessary. I almost never tape anything. Occasionally I do it in videos for formality, but I very rarely tape anything or use spray unless I have to move something. Okay, so I lined this up pretty good on my corners. If I can get this just a little bit more centered there. Yeah. Now I just centered it so that I could use these corners as my reference point for this. And I'm actually just gonna line my paper up right with the edge of my heat press. And well, actually I'll go down a little bit from it just to make sure I'm totally on there. And it's centered. That was easy because it was nice and straight. But if I wasn't sure, I could always use my laser level. We'll cover that again. And we're gonna do 50 seconds. You can do 50 to 60 seconds. You can do these for 380 to 400 degrees. It's pretty tolerable fabric. So you have some leeway there based on your heat press. Because mine is running hot, I do have it 10 degrees lower than I normally would. And because I'm using Printer Jack's high release paper, I am taking 10 seconds off the time, which is normal. I always do that. I've always been doing that in demos anyways with this paper. So I think I'm using the blue formula today just because I have the blue formula left in the letter size. So, but the pink formula is the new and improved formula. And so if you're going to order Printer Jack paper on Amazon, you want to get that. We got just about 10 seconds left to go. I'm very excited. Jasper will have a cute little sweatshirt to wear for Christmas and this winter. He does not like to be cold. So he's a big fan of little doggy sweatshirts. All right, we're gonna carefully open our heat press. We don't wanna move our paper because while this is hot, it can shift and that can cause ghosting too, but that is really not a very common cause of ghosting. So I just pulled that off and pull this forward. We don't have any press lines, but if you do, the secret there is to shake it like a Polaroid picture. Let me get that out of the way. All right, I'm gonna turn that off. And let's have a look at our doggy sweatshirt. Okay, it's adorable. Let me see if I can get Jasper to wear it. Jasper, you want a jacket? All right, here he comes. Let's put this on. Oh, let me see. Oh, good boy. Well, it's pretty easy to get on him. Ooh, it fits so nicely. Oh, show everyone your sweater. Hey, come here. Hey, what are you doing? Say hi, everyone. Say hi. Can you sit? You don't want to sit. Jasper actually does listen very well, by the way, you guys. He just really, when I have the camera on, then all of a sudden he's like, I want to be on the camera too, but he wants to be next to me. He's trying to hide behind me currently. What you doing? Go show everyone your sweater. Go. So there you have it. There's the Sublimation dog hoodie. Where are you going, Slim Shady? Oh, he's in his crate. He left us. Okay. You got to see a lot of Jasper today. He's going to go cozy up in his new sweater. Again, that was the dog sweater from Sublimation 101. Thank you so much for joining us. If you have any questions, leave them below. And of course, if you're in our YouTube channel, you will have to come join our Facebook group to ask any questions. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.